All right, this is Boxing with the Truth, and I am the Truth on July 5th, 2015. And today we have with us Dimar El Animal Ortuz. How you doing today?
Hey, I'm okay. How's it going over there?
I'm good. I appreciate you taking time to do the interview.
You're welcome.
So you do fight at cruiserweight, right?
Yes.
Okay, and are you out of Chicago, Illinois?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and your pro record as of right now is 10 wins, 7 knockouts, and 1 draw, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're age 34 right now?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm just going to get to the show right now. You actually just were on Knockout TV reality boxing series season 2, which is going to premiere on Nuvo and Fuse on July 8th. And for some people that aren't familiar with it, it's kind of like the boxing TV show Contender that was on a few years back. You get there's a couple different trainers. Everybody gets like 3 boxers. Roy Jones is the host, and each trainer trains a few different boxers, and then you guys fight each other in a tournament style until there's a finale, correct?
Yes, I am.
So let's talk about that a little bit. How did you originally get picked for the show?
I actually just got a call from Rick Glazer, and I worked with Rick Glazer as one of the guys. He sends me off for sparring, so he gets me a few sparring gigs. So he had called me up and told me that he's part of this reality show and that they're doing cruiserweights, and he actually wanted to see what I got after he'd heard all the good stuff about me from all the places I went sparring. So he called me up, and then that's how I got hooked up with Knockout.
So how was the experience for you overall? I mean, I know some of it's got to be scripted as far as like, different things you say or different things you do. So was that easy for you to do just being a boxer? Because, I mean, you bring all these boxers in here. These guys aren't actors. They're fighters. So was that part of it? Was that part of it a little odd for you?
No, actually, you know what? Believe it or not, a lot of the stuff that's said and done is scripted. Some places, some of the scenes where we're at, locations, they were put in, but a lot of it is just what we saw at the moment. Nobody really told us, hey, say this, say that. So, they pretty much let us be ourselves.
Well, that's good to hear anyways. I mean, that's better for the fans too if they think more of it, most of it's more realistic. So who did you actually end up with for a trainer?
Roy Jones put me in with Sugar Shane.
Okay, and for the fans that don't know, the trainers were Sugar Shane Mosley, John the Iceman Scully, Floyd Mayweather Sr., and then Roy Jones was the host, right?
Correct.
So did you have any type of relationship with Shane Mosley before the show? I mean, did you know him at all?
No. This is the first time I met everybody on that show.
So was that kind of like, did you get caught up like a little kid with all these guys that you'd been watching or seen over their careers? Was it kind of a surreal moment for you?
Actually, no. I was more eager to get down to training with them, and I was more eager about the learning experience. I mean, they're fighters just like we are, and they've achieved a lot of stuff, but also, they were where we were at one point. I've been already around a bunch of world champions. I traveled to Russia with Don King, and I've been to Honduras. I've been all over the United States, and so I've already gotten to meet a lot of big names, big name people, and I just felt comfortable. I was there to learn, and I was more excited about the learning experience I was about to receive.
Okay, so speaking of learning, tell me something that you took away from training with Shane Mosley that you learned in your career that you didn't know.
Well, I'm a back and forth fighter. I have a more of a Puerto Rican style fighting because of my trainer. So I'm used to more of that moving around, hitting, tough out, trying to jump in and out. So with St. Mosey, I learned a little bit of how to move my body side to side now. So I've been practicing that. I've been practicing a few other things I learned, and that I have been helping my style and go real well with what I'm trying to accomplish. So I took what I could. I took what I could from Mayweather Senior. I sat down. I watched them. I went up to Big Bear after we came back from the show. I was in the Curtis Stevens camp, and also Gene Pascal was up there training as well. I got extra sparring up there. I got to learn a little bit from Abel Sanchez. I was able to learn a little bit about the Russians that he had up there. So I'm taking everything as I'm a sponge with all this that's happening right now.
Okay, so to switch to something else here, I know that speaking of sparring, that you've actually sparred with the ranked number one U.S. cruiserweight Jordan Shimmell before, right?
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
So what do you think of Jordan Shimmell as a fighter? I mean, you've sparred with the guy. I mean, he is at number one, obviously, for a reason. And so how far can Jordan go?
Oh, Jordan's going good. A long way long. And he's actually a good student as well. He has so many rounds sparring with him. I seen him, he started picking up on a few of the things I do. And as opposed to him being a fighter, I'm happy that he's achieving what he needs to achieve. Because the Midwest boxing isn't really that big at the moment. Right now, if you notice, a lot of Midwest fighters are used as opponents. We're pretty good in the Midwest. To build our records, but they bring us in as opponents a lot of the times. So I'm actually happy that somebody from the Midwest is actually up there and showing them, that we're here.
Okay. Also, I want to bring up BKB, Big Knockout Boxing. A lot of fans aren't familiar with that, and I know that you were on the inaugural show, correct?
Yes.
So first, I'm going to break it down to some of the fans that don't understand what that is. It is boxing. It's 2-minute rounds. You're in what's called the pit. There's no ropes. You're in a circular diameter, 17-foot circle, about half the size of a boxing ring. If you step out of the area where you're fighting, you can actually get an 8 count, which is called the safety zone. And you actually fight for 5 rounds unless it's a championship fight, then it's 7 rounds. Is that pretty much correct?
Yeah, very much.
Okay, so tell me how you got involved in that.
Actually, my promoter, Bobby Hitz, got me involved in that, and I guess they called him up looking for somebody, and I was brought up, and I got my chance to fight.
So how different for you than being in a boxing ring was that?
It takes a lot to be in there. I'm not gonna lie. Everybody's like 2 minutes, 2-minute rounds. I mean, actually in there, that goes by really fast, and you can get hit a lot of times. How it's different from the ring is I'm a rope fighter. I like using the ropes as a weapon and a strategy in my fight game, man. It was kind of hard to spar, and I had the ropes to lean on, the ropes to push people into. So it took, at the time I was training for BKB, I was also helping out Anthony Darrell get ready for Bika. I was traveling back and forth to Vegas. I went like 4 times in like 3 weeks to Vegas. So a lot of my camp was interrupted with other stuff. The experience, I mean, they treated you out there. I mean, the promotion team that's running BKB, they treat all the fighters with respect, and it's something to go worth fighting for. They're people worth fighting for.
But now, is it true that most of the guys that are out there, they're trying to basically handpick more guys that are fighters, not necessarily boxers, because, like you said, it's such a small area that you basically have to stand there and pretty much tee off on each other because there's no room to really move around, and a boxer isn't going to really be able to fight well in there.
I mean, a fighter's advantage is if he knows how to move in angles, he'll do perfectly well. Adrian Canales, for example, is nice moving in angles, and was able to use whatever space he was. You know, it's up to the fighter. I mean, a brawler has a chance, but it's a 50-50. A boxer, you know, can move in there as well. As them handpicking guys, they're picking guys more that, you know, they're trying to live up to the name knockout boxing. So they're getting guys that they've seen will take a little bit more chances of throwing harder punches and receiving the harder punches as well.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's a pretty cool concept. Like I said, I enjoyed my time, and I would love to do it again.
Okay. So when you fight, do you have any superstitions or rituals or habits that you do before you go in the ring?
You know, I've been wearing the same trunks for my past. I want to say 8 fights. I've been wearing the same trunks. I've had the same cup. I've been trying to keep my same equipment, you know, that I have as long as I can.
Okay. Now, are you, after the whole knockout TV reality series and stuff is all done and aired, do you have anything coming up this summer? Do you have any fights lined up?
At the moment, no. I'm signing on with Knockout TV for another 2 fights after the next fight.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know in which direction they're gonna go and you know what's gonna happen, but I am under contract after this fight still.
Okay. Is there anything outside of boxing, any type of activity that you enjoy doing?
You know, I actually started training. I have a 16-year-old kid softball that I'm moving on up. The name is Enrique. Powerful kid. We're gonna start fighting him. We're gonna start fighting him in amateur fights this December. And I'm also got another professional fighter, my best friend, Israel Echevarria. He just fought William Chalu a few months ago at the Horseshoe Casino on Bobby Hitch show. So I've been picking up training, little by little. I'm practicing. You know, I am thinking about my life after boxing, and I know for any fighter it's hard to disattach themselves from the game. You know, it's something that once it's in you, you can't get it out of you.
Okay, but speaking of boxing, boxing, you can't do that full time to pay the bills. You actually have another job as well, right? Don't you do like construction or roofing?
I'm more of a handyman. I dig myself into whatever makes money. I do construction. I do security at nightclubs here in Chicago. Aside from that, I'm always traveling with sparring, so you know it's kind of hard to maintain a steady paying job. You know, this year alone, I think this is the longest I've been in Chicago. I've been in Chicago for 2 months, but you know, for the rest of the year, I'm gonna be here for most of the year. So it's real hard for me to maintain some active job, you know, a secure job. So I do what I can with construction. I can go in and out of security. I can go in and out of. So that's how I maintain my bills.
Okay. So tell me something about you that your boxing fans wouldn't know.
Something that they wouldn't know about me. Well, I'm married. I got 3 beautiful kids. This boxing, role was this boxing, was something that was my life. Was dream of mine. And I came back. A lot of people see that I started fighting at 30 years old again, and I just didn't want to be 40 years old and said, man, I wish, I wondered what could have happened. And right now, everything is like in 3 years being pro, I've never experienced. I've had Michael Buffer say my name. I've been on pay-per-view. So I'm enjoying the ride. If this ride was to end right now, I would be so happy with everything that I've achieved.
Okay, well, you just brought up some of those moments in your career, so I want you to try to narrow it down to like one favorite memory so far out of your pro boxing career.
Terry Martin. My fight against Terry Martin. That was like in fighting. That was right now my fight with him, because it was a Chicago showdown, and there was a lot of shit talking going on between him and I, and I went and I took care of business, and he still wants to fight me again.
So is there one person that inspires you inside and outside the ring in your life?
You know what? My inspiration comes from my kids, and I want them to see that if you want something, it doesn't matter. You go after it.
Is there? Do you have any names in the cruiserweight division before you end your career that you would actually like to fight? Any U.S. fighters?
Well, there's a few things going on, and a little. But I don't think I'm going to end my career as a cruiserweight. So there's a few talks I'm having with my team, and we're making decisions, and I'm trying to see if these decisions will be right for my career. So at the moment, right now, we're deciding a few things, and we're trying to see where my career is going to take us next year. And so I'm uncertain at the time of who I would like to fight, and to me, you put them in front of me, and I'll fight them all.
So, are you possibly planning on moving up in weight?
Well, maybe up, maybe down. It's something I feel like I said we haven't talked. I can't really talk about right now because it's like I said, it's something that's still unclear.
Okay. So if you got to sum up your career right now in one statement, what would it be?
That's fucking living dream, man.
Okay, and you said you were starting to train kids and stuff, which is a great thing. I love to hear that people are passing on, their knowledge to the kids of this generation. So I want you to give me an example. If a kid walks into your gym right now, what type of advice would you give them, seeing that you've been through a lot of ups and downs in your pro career?
You gotta ask the kid if this is what he really wants, man. Because when you first walk into a gym, you have trainers that right away and grab your kid. Oh, yeah, I can show you how to do this and that. It's like I don't know. It's like picking out the dog in the dog pound. And that's how I feel like the trainers get it. They see the kids and I want this one. And doesn't give the kid a chance to really think about it if this is really what they want. I mean, they see the fighting, they see everything else, and of course everybody's like, yeah, I want to learn how to fight. But once you figure out that there's more than just throwing punches, there's running, there's jump roping, there's shadow boxing, and the most important, there's dedication. A lot of you start seeing who wants it and who doesn't. So my first thing to a kid is, does he really want it? It's not glory. This is not a glorified game. This is rough to make it to the top. It's just not about fighting well. It's about who you fight, how you fight them. It doesn't just involve throwing a 1-2 and a hook. So my question for them will find out if they really want this. It's hard, man. This game is hard. The dedication, waking waking up at 5 in the morning, running by yourself. This is a lonely sport. This is a lonely sport. Nobody's there. If you don't motivate yourself, there's no chance for you in this sport. This is all what you do. This isn't what the next person does, not what your teammate's gonna do. It's what you put in. It's what you get out.
Okay, so what about this sport of boxing interested you when you first got into it?
Well, believe me or not, man, John, I started fighting at a nightclub. I started, it was called Tropicana, and what they had was a champion. They had this one, he was a pro fighter, his name was David Tuizo Estrada. So I ended up getting in the ring with him, and I was already a little, you know, under the influence. So once I got in there, it was like, I fell in love with it, and I started trying to find out, I was like, man, I know I can learn how to fight somewhere. So I started finding out park districts had gyms, and I started going to park districts, and then I ended up at Windy City. And that's where I won the Golden Gloves, and I ended up not fighting no more amateur after 2002 because my mom passed away, and my life turned around completely into drugs, into alcohol, and, you know, there was a lot of confusion in my life. So that's how I got involved with fighting was through a nightclub experience. So what gets me going right now, why I continue to fight is because I love the competition. There's no, like I said before, there's no, if you don't put into it, you won't get out. I mean, you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't go running, don't go do this, you're not going to survive. Doesn't matter how skillful you are. If you don't put in your time, you don't succeed. You know, it's not like basketball where the kid can shoot threes all day and he doesn't even have to run up and down the court. You know, and he can do that all day. This is one of those sports that if you don't put in training time, you won't be able to do it all day.
No, I agree with you. I'm actually training right now with somebody just to get in the ring for one fight, and I'm learning that boxing isn't. It's a lot more than I thought it was, and I have the utmost respect for every boxer that does this every day.
Yeah, thank you. But it's hard, man. And especially when you put yourself in, when you put your 100 into it, it's even harder because a loss is, you know, people understand that, you know, it's not like basketball. It's not like any other sport where a loss is just a loss. A loss is devastating because you put your heart into training camp. You put everything into it. You know what I'm saying? And you know, for you to go in and lose, you know, yeah, the guy might have been a better fighter that one night, but you know, regardless, to know that you put everything you could and to lose, you know, it's not the same feeling as opposed to any other sport.
All right. Well, do you have anything to say to your fans or your supporters?
Well, I hope you guys tune in July 8th, Nuvo TV. That's knockout. You know, big things are coming for us. You know, for Team War 2s this coming year. Hopefully, if everything stays on track, bigger news will be released as they come along.
All right. And with that, the truth has spoken.